Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. This is a comment section video and where I take a question that someone has asked in a thread and I feel it worthy to make a video because many people may sympathize or relate to what the subscriber is asking me. So we can see the question right here, and they state and ask, why is it so hard to move forward? It's going on 1 year since he discarded me and is still with his new supply. I should just go forward knowing he is with someone else, but I can't. It feels as if it's the first day. I really miss him. What is wrong with me? It's driving me crazy. We knew each other for 17 years and we're together for 10 years. Okay, Luvi, let's talk about this. And I have addressed this in other videos, but let's go ahead and reinforce here, because when we're trying to heal, reinforcement and repetition is our friend. And I've made a video about that. All right. So you put this question under my part 1, understanding trauma and the trauma bond to the narcissist. So there's part of your answer right there. Okay, Lou, you have been trauma bonded to the narcissist. I'm quite sure you still have this soul tie there as well. Now, let's just go ahead. Why is it so hard for you to move forward? Because you're resisting it. Let's step outside of the trauma bond. Let's step outside of your soul tie. All right. You're operating in a state of resistance. That's what you're doing right now. You're going against. You're not welcoming. You're not allowing yourself to flow and move forward. So you're stuck. You're stuck because you don't want to let go. You're saying that you really miss this person, and that is driving you crazy. So I'm feeling like you are still very much letting it rent up massive amounts of mental space in your mind. You haven't replaced it with something else. And it doesn't have to be another relationship or another body, but you have to shift your focus, because you're telling me a year later, you're giving me updates on this person's love life. So you're still consumed, sweetie. You are still consumed. I always advise in the healing process that we have to start replacing that time, because we know in a love bomb stage with the narcissist, they want to spend as much time as possible with you. And they try to make your life centered around theirs. So when you're not in that relationship, you're going to feel like there's a bunch of voids that was filled with the narcissist demands, the narcissist responsibilities, the narcissist problems, and you got to fill that up with something. Or else it's going to be like the elephant in a room. It's going to be overly, you're going to have an overly awareness that this person isn't here because you haven't replaced it with anything else. You haven't really been living your life. You haven't really ended the relationship, honestly. They may not physically be in your life, but in all the other aspects, mind, body, and spirit is still with the narcissist. They took that with them. And you have not cut the chains. You haven't. And it's going to start with the mental. It's going to start with the mental. Now, wanting this narcissist back is going to suggest to me that you are using wishful thinking. You are using cognitive dissonance. You may be utilizing Stockholm syndrome, or basically there's some part of you that's wearing these rosy colored glasses and is not seeing the reality of the relationship. Now, granted, this person has been around for quite some time. You've known each other for 17 years and you were together for a decade. That's a very long time. That is a very long time. They say it takes about 3 weeks to form a habit. Well, imagine a relationship of 10 years of how much of a habit that would become. So yes, it will feel it's a death of a relationship. That's a chunk, that's a significant time of your life. So yeah, it's going to feel something. You're going to feel something. It's not going to feel pleasant. All right. The other thing that I want to point out in this situation is it's only been a year. You're only a year out of this 17-year relationship. 1 year versus 17 years. So it's going to take time. Now, the amount of time that it takes is going to depend on your mentality and your psyche. So yes, it could feel like the first day if you haven't really taken the proper precautions to shift your mind and your way of viewing, seeing, and doing things, basically, so that you can start reprogramming yourself and making different kinds of choices, which will result in you wanting different kinds of things. Right now, you're still running off of the same or basically similar program that you had when you were with the narcissist. You haven't changed much in this year. I don't know. Have you gone to counseling? Have you done therapy? Have you really been putting in your shadow work is going to be a question that I'm going to have for you. Okay? Because I highly recommend you get some coaching. I do offer that. I do over the phone, email, Skype, FaceTime off of WhatsApp, and that goes for any of you that are stuck. And it's coming from someone who not only been there and done that has studied this and understands it inside out. Okay? So you need to make that investment in yourself, especially when you're in a situation where it's been a whole year and you're still feeling like day one. That means that you haven't really done the kind of therapy that would yield, a different feeling. And I'm also going to let you know that even most people that have done a lot of therapy, it typically takes more than a year to get to that sweet spot. What I would call a sweet spot after narcissistic abuse, where you are certainly, you're so unbothered on a high level, and it's not really bothering your day-to-day waking life like it is right now, sweetie. All right, so you're going to have to cut those chains. Stop trying to keep up with what this narcissist is doing, whether that relationship is working out. You got to get to a space of not caring about that, or of that not being relevant. It's like you're focused on all the wrong things right now. You're focused on all the wrong things, and it's preventing you from being able to really have that true ending, because you haven't made space for anything new and fresh, because you're still consumed with your past. You're still consumed with someone that has moved on to someone else. You're still consumed with it. Okay? So I hope that this, at least begins to give you some insight as to, why it's so hard for you to move forward. Okay? This person let you go because you said he discarded you, and he is with that new primary source and they still rocking out. That's their business. Who cares? And you do realize, as you stated here, you should just go forward knowing he is with someone else. But beyond that, you need to go forward knowing how he didn't honor you in the relationship. Make a list, sweetie. Make a list of the things that that narcissist did. Okay. Now they had to end it because you were, so stuck in the toxicity that you didn't do it for yourself. Okay. So it speaks of a person who, was settling and accepting less than, that was being perhaps a doormat, and had very weak boundaries. And you may still have all these issues if you still feel like it's a day one for you, but everyone knows how horrible day one feels. When you've gotten your heart broken and that relationship didn't work out, day one sucks most of the time. It really does. Even when you logically know this is good for you, and now you're going to purge yourself and go through that grieving process and, wrapping your mind around everything that just happened to you. So let's continue here. It says, I really miss him. Do you? Let's question that aspect of your message as well. You really miss him. Do you really miss him, or do you really miss just being in a relationship? Do you just really miss having someone to say that they're quote unquote yours, whether they're faithful or not? Do you just miss, the soul ties, the sexual aspect? Do you miss what you thought it was? Are you sensationalizing things? Because that typically happens. That typically happens. It's not the narcissist that you're missing. It's the crumbs. Chances are the crumbs that narcissist was giving you, the tiniest bits of comforts that you may have been experiencing in the midst of all the toxicity. That's what you're missing. And even those crumbs and drops of affection and illusions of love that this narcissist was giving you, it was still a manipulation just to keep you around. Okay. So what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you is you're having a hard time letting go. And I just recently made a video about accepting death in your life. And I talked about it physically, literally, and metaphorically, figuratively, basically. So a death of a relationship, a season ending, even if it was a decade together, even if you've known this person for 17 years, the season has ended. And you can gracefully trust the universe that they're doing you a favor. And they probably wanted to end it for you sooner than this, but you were resisting it as you're doing right now. Okay? We have to stop resisting things in life, because it's not going to make that narcissist treat you better. It's not going to give you the relationship that you never had with that person. They're not going to be the one to yield that for you. They've already showed you that had over a decade to get that right, and they didn't. Okay, so accept that they just aren't the one, and by you staying stuck, you're blocking that person that will be the one. You're prolonging it. Because the universe can't give you something that you don't have your arms out to get. Because you're still trying to get that narcissist. You're still missing the toxicness. And that is really a red flag right there. Because that will be setting you up for more relationships just like that, with a different name and a different face. And we don't have a lot of time on this precious earth. We just don't. You don't want to keep giving decades to another narcissist, now a decade with another one. Pretty soon, your opportunities will be gone at that rate. So you got to wake up and let go and accept that death. All right. And be rebirthed. All right. So I really hope that this message helps you and someone else that is just stuck. At least help you begin to think about that. All right. So if this video resonates with you and anyone else, go ahead and hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and do so. I have over 300 videos here to help you heal from narcissistic abuse, toxic relationships, help you with your shadow work, I have a playlist called a motivational playlist for those healing from narcissistic abuse on the days where you just don't want to get out of bed, where you're feeling highly triggered, offended, angry, upset. Go ahead and hit that, go into that playlist and let it uplift you. I even have a playlist that deals with anger. I have all kinds of playlists, guys. Go ahead and through them and take what you can, okay? And if that still isn't enough for you, which it won't be, especially in this situation right here, it's a start. Get you some one-on-one personalized coaching, okay? And you can email CoachLakia@gmail.com. If you're interested in that, you can go to LakiaCrawford.com and see everything I offer. Just hit the coaching tab and it'll let you know everything and how the process works. Okay, guys? Just hang in there. Hang in there, and all you got to do is make a shift. And I'm not going to say, you know, like, all I got to do, well, I haven't done it in a year, Lakia. It may not be as simple. It's easier said than done. But it starts with changing your mind, okay? All right. All right, guys. Take care.